Hi everyone, SoulServer17 here. Let me get first like usual. I do not own the picture, not pay video. Alright, okay, so here's the thing. This video maybe just be a 15-minute one because it's 4:08 in the morning. I did the stupid thing. I was thirsty, I had some Mountain Dew in my room, and I decided to drink a bottle of Mountain Dew. And so, I drank 3 Mountain Dews before, like, 1 in the afternoon, 1 for dinner, then 1 at night, and I forgot what time it was, and I looked, after I'm done, I'm like, I'm gonna be awake. I know I'm gonna be awake, and so, I'm up now. Oh god, it's hilarious, everyone. It just is. It's funny. So yeah, I'm hoping this will basically get me tired, so I'm not planning to make this video long, just to let you know. I'm only going to probably just cover the Chunin exam before the fights. I kind of already know where I'm going to go with. Just let you know, Gaara's fight, I'm going to have some cannon fire people. Cannon folder fire, how do you ever say it? People that are just going to be there just so they can get beaten, very easily. So yeah, anyways, last time we left off in the last part was after, the whole time Orochimaru biting Sasuke, me getting a curse because I just had to do that to myself. Well, technically, let me explain the curse truly. The curse was to basically use the Shimigami's help, quote unquote, with Minato, basically having the QB and Naruto's, the thing where if Naruto dies, the QB dies. Yeah, that part from the ceiling. Yeah, I had Orochimaru just try to mess with that, and when that happened, the QB or Kurama decided to mess with that curse that would basically constantly put me near death all the time, and then, bring me back, bring me near death, I decided to change it into a mark that basically is gonna be, because, okay, just know this, Kurama is a weeb. Like, I legit make Kurama be technically a anime lover. So, if you really think about it, just want to let you guys know. Kind of reason why I'm putting some anime references in here. I just had to say it, and I just realized it when I was making part whatever, I realized I made Kurama love anime, so technically he's a weeb or a taku or whatever you want to say. Just know he loves anime. And before anyone says anything, I call myself a weeb or a taku, but, it's, or whatever, just someone that loves anime. And I watch as much as I can, because of life. But anyways, enough of me rambling on, so let's just get into it. This is What If I Replaced Naruto? Part whatever. I don't care. So, okay, you guys know though, I'm probably gonna mess around. Just be like, have no care in the world. I will basically let an announcement happen, which basically what ifs I will make. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into this. So, as we basically are having me for the past 2 days, we were basically waiting for the events of the Chunin exam to happen. So, here's what happens though for those 2 days. Sasuke, was training and trying to figure out how to deal with the curse seal before any fights. Me and Sakura, well, I basically been helping Sakura not suck at, taijutsu and some basically muscle workout. In the Forest of Death, I would have realized, or see from Sakura, she has mentally, broke. Sasuke legit, as we know, tried to kill her, and I saved her life. she basically saw Sasuke and she doesn't know about the true intention of how the curse seal works. So she has a small ray of hope that the curse seal, didn't basically was the cause. It was not him. So in a sense, she has hope. But we all know that hope is not needed because yeah. But I mean, I've been told by this from someone, but it's also kind of shown that Sasuke's true colors show with the curse mark. So I mean, I did look it up, but at the point every time when I basically, because I was curious about the curse mark, my friend brought it up. I completely forgot. If you guys can let me know, go ahead. You guys usually would, but anyways, continuing on. So basically, we do have when the Chunin exams are about to start that morning where I wake up, have an early breakfast, and decide to go meditate in, well, an area that no one is using at this point in time. Because I'm curious, why do I have a mark on my, well, basically, it looks like a tattoo, but, it looks like just something on my arm. And so, I go into my mindscape. When I am there, I see Kurama. I see the seal in the cage, but it's different. It seems like the cage itself has rusted a little. And I'm looking at Kurama. I'm like, hey, Kurama, the cage? I know I made the whole entire, you know, forest and house and TV and everything, but there's still the cage. It's like, oh, hey kid, yeah, um, you know about the whole entire me and Naruto bound for life thing. I just nod. I'm like, I don't have that no more. Which I just blink. I'm like, wait, so that means if I die, you live? Which Kurama just goes, yep. Thank the snake. I'm like, the snake. Ugh. I hate snakes. I really do. Which Kurama chuckles. He goes like, well, so do I. Anyways, here's the thing. Since that seal, well, technically curse, messed with that, well, part of the seal, and that changed, it was basically got rid of my life and death and turned to a curse, where it would have constantly drained your life and replenish it and drain. Basically keeping you in a state of life and death. Never-ending cycle of, well, basically dying and reviving. Which, I'm basically like, that's sick! And then before I even say any more, Kurama just says, I get it, yeah, he is sick. Whatever. Anyways, here's the thing, kid. I'm not doing the Kurama voice, it's like 4 in the morning, guys. So I'm not even gonna try, I'm just doing my normal voice, but yeah. Anyways, so here's the thing, kid. I basically changed it since basically it broke, it became a cursed seal, I decided to turn it into something else. And hence, while you were sleeping, if you look at your shoulder, which I know you have, which basically I just take off it basically would just be a black jacket with, with basically a black shirt with basically chainmail underneath. So when I do take off the jacket and basically see the mark, I'm like, did you become an anime lover? Like a weeb? Person who loves anime a lot? In which Kurama just be like, well, that's the most things you watch, plus whatever else, but I've been enjoying it too much, so I guess yes. There's a few things that you can find out for yourself. I'll explain it to you later, but just know this. It works like the Orochimaru curse seal on basically the Chiha. The same markings will appear on your body, but the thing is, you don't get any boost. You basically absorb a lot more nature energy, and that fuels your basically reserves of chakra. But it also has my chakra within it. So basically, I'm just like, basically just ask him this. Here he goes on. I'm like, so you're saying the curse actually has some of your chakra in it. Basically, I already know you absorb, like all tail beasts, nature energy. And so, because of your chakra was basically used on the seal, and then part of the Shimigami, the entire, curse was used for that, basically. The curse seal was used of that seal to basically keep me in the constant death and revival state. And your chakra was used to change it, form it into, well, the fairy tale symbol on my arm, or should I say my shoulder, and I basically, well, basically if the marks appear on me, I can absorb nature energy because of it, because of your chakra, and probably the Shimigami curse, with the Shimigami seals, and the curse, which Kurama just says, yeah, pretty much. It's completely BS, but here's the thing, I look for your memories. Some of the stuff that happened that in your life is BS. So, why not? And it worked. And I'm like, so I basically, you already told me I can use nature energy, and that's the reason why my jutsus, or should I say, me using chakra was so different and more powerful and destructive. Yes, you can use 2 different energies. Chakra, my own. Actually, wait, 3. Correct. Sorry about that, kid. Because, yeah, I kind of get it. Your own chakra, my chakra, and the seal, as I basically just tap my shoulder, chakra. Or should I say, nature energy that with your chakra basically converts into chakra anyways. Oh my god, I have like so much chakra reserves now. If Naruto was here, he'll probably say this is BS. Most of my life is BS anyway, so who cares? This whole situation I'm in is BS. Ugh. Wait. Does that mean I can physically make something actually real again? Something that'll take up a lot of my chakra? Which Kurama's like, nope, leave. As he just throws me out. As I'm like, rude, but fair. I already have too much bullshit ideas anyway, so. As I just get up and then stretch, as when I basically turn around, like, now, what do I come up with? Hi, Sakura. She just looked at me. She was like, were you meditating? I'm like, yeah. What do you need? She's like, well, you ran into that special Jonin Enko. And I'm like, okay. Wait, she's right behind me, isn't she? As all of a sudden a kunai comes basically near my face, and she goes, yep. Lucky guess, huh? I'm like, yeah. And also, you really shouldn't stay near me. She goes, why? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you're just here to sound the wind. And she was like, huh? As all of a sudden a wall of wind comes around me, basically flying her back a little bit. Or should I say center her back a little bit. And she was like, what the? I'm like, it basically just disappears. I'm like, now that is something I call Gale Force Wall. And she was like, how did you? He was like, come on now. It's easy to do one hand signs. Which Sakura thinks there's a BS. You didn't even do one hand signs. As I'm just looking at Inko, Inko, and she was like, whatever, I didn't know you can do that. He was like, yeah, let me guess, Sakura here, or I should say Haruno, which basically Sakura's like, just been wondering that for a bit. And she was about the whole entire curse sealed. She told me she wanted to talk while it's all 3 of us. I'm like, yeah. And then basically Inko, now her eyes was like, how do you know so much about the curse seal? I'm like, I only know little bits of information about it. It's not that hard when you go for the old, snakes stuff. Have to burn in it. Just, wait, you mean It was only some notes. It was nothing much. All the writing was, basically worn out. I only got a few bits and details. That was it. She was, where did you find it? And he was like, you would never believe this. The snake left it inside a tree. Well, technically the trunk of a tree that led into an underground study, and everything was worn down and chewed up. So, as I just shrug, as Eniko just sighs, we're like, well, there goes my hopes for the briefest moments. I'm like, don't worry, you'll get that seal off of you. As I think, as soon as I basically come up with an idea how to get rid of it. So, anyways, Eniko just says, alright, now let me then explain this to both of you. So she does explain about the curse mark and how it does bring out the true self. And Sakura's eyes were basically hoping that Sasuke was actually not trying to kill her on purpose. Then came to realize, as soon as Eniko says that, he was trying to kill her on purpose. And her basically eyes went dull for a minute. So I then after the end of it, I'm like, so wait. So the Uchiha really is a jerk? Who knew? I say it like that with just excitement. And she was like, was that sarcasm? I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm the one who knew it. Duh. I've been thinking that for a while now. Besides, if you really look at the facts here, as Sakura just looking at me, he was like, he basically is an Avenger. He keeps saying that he wants to kill a certain somebody. His whole entire clan is dead, and we all know who did it. And I say, those are the 4 facts. Which Enko nods, which Sakura goes like, wait, you mean, he goes, and I just look at her and like, please tell me you know who did the Uchiha massacre. She goes, my mom wouldn't let me find that out. Like, it was his brother Itachi Uchiha, Sakura. Jeez. She was like, but why? He's like, I don't know. Just heard rumors about it. It's just for power. Test it. As I'm thinking, BS. Just try to save the village. Cool. Uchihas are idiots. After I finish that little saying in my head, Enko just nods. He's like, he's a flight risk, Haruno. Basically, if you had any crush on him, get rid of it. And I'm like, just saying, let her. Somehow make her stronger, but in the end, she'll stop peaking if, well, she stays in love with him. It's always good to have to fight. Always good to have someone to fight for that you care about. In which, basically, I just, turn around and walk in. Which Sakura basically bows to Enko and leaves, basically running towards me, being by my side and leaving with me. In which, I'm just looking at him like, so, you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And basically she was, looking at the floor. I'm like, in my head, great. Comfort somebody. I'm bad, I think, at this. Well, Inko's not around, so here's goes my best shot. Basically, I look at, basically just glance at Sakura. I'm like, I still say you really shouldn't be in love with the Uchiha, but if you want to, go ahead. It's your choice, Sakura. I'm not gonna, criticize you much for it. But, hey, I want you to get stronger to live. Remember what I said about the forest of death? And when she kind of remembers what I said to her, if you guys don't remember, go back in the past video, what I said to her. And she goes, and she nods. I'm like, well, yeah, it was kind of obvious. You were the weakest link, and I want to fix that. Let's just say some old residual feelings for you still are there. Very little. Besides, we're not really friends. You kept beating me ever since we joined the academy. Every time I asked you out, and how long has that been? as she basically counts the years, and then basically I just heard the number. I'm like, whoa, yeah, seriously. You know how much freaking damage you caused to me? I went to the hospital multiple times for some of those. And it hurts a lot when you get rejected by a girl you used to like. And when she basically stopped and she goes like, wait, used to? She basically was stuttering. I'm like, yeah. After all, I came to realize something before we even became teammates. I did some life thinking, and I was looking back at her while saying it because she stopped. Like, you never really cared about me. I mean, I gave you attention and was supporting you all this time, and yet I always get punched and call it stupid baka. Makes me wonder why they even like you in the first place. Because you just gave me attention? I mean, that was nice and all. And I didn't know what love was like, and I still don't. But hey, I'm not gonna let some petty, I guess, hatred towards you, if I have any. I really don't know, Sakura. Like, stay there. I'm gonna try to help you get strong as you can so you can survive on your own. And don't have to rely on me or Sasuke. That'll be a waste of potential you have. Also, try to learn some medical ninjutsu and genjutsu. That'll probably be the best, well, thing for you since you have low chakra reserves, which I'm gonna help you get those up pretty high. So that way you can probably be near to some level of my reserves. As I'm to think to myself, yeah, no, you're never gonna be at my level. I'm already freaking more powerful than Sasuke, and I have literally need to try, the kunai and zenbone. I'm even to invent some new chakra chain techniques. Chakra training technique. Chakra control training techniques for myself. Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare. I'm thinking to myself, basically. So after that, Sakura basically went through shock, surprise, happiness, sadness, and joy all at once just because of me. If you really think about it, I basically insulted her, crushed her, made her happy, and then and happy all at once. Man, I kind of feel bad for doing that to her, but anyways, so we basically, as I just walk in, Sakura's walking again by my side. She goes, so, you said you already know tree walking. I was like, yep, I already water walking too. She goes, really? He goes, yeah, no offense to Kakashi. You probably need to train Sasuke behind our backs. I mean, the great Uchiha Sharingan. If the Sharingan basically can't see the hand signs, they can't do shit. They can't see, copy or see stuff. What someone can do. If you don't even use any hand signs, which then I realize, you are the ultimate. I'm like, yep, I am their ultimate weakness. No offense, Sasuke's gonna probably try to kill me because of that. In which Sakura eyes widen. And like, how? And then she goes, how can you say it so casually? I'm like, easy. I mean, this is the ninja world. People will kill you for the pettiest of reasons. I mean, it's kind of obvious, not Sakura. And then I'm also thinking, and also, if basically you know what you can do and survive, you really don't have to worry. Just don't be overconfident or cocky. It's okay to be a little bit cocky, just not overly cocky. As I hear then Kurama says, agreed. Like, now you talk to me. It's like, what? You're basically talking to yourself in your own head. It's kind of annoying sometimes. I'm like, yeah. Okay. No, shush. And then basically Kurama just being quiet, but he's thinking, cheeky brat. So, after, we talking and me telling Sakura what's the plan for her, even if I don't you know, even if I don't get into the preliminaries of the final exam, and if she doesn't, I'm still gonna help her. Like, you basically use the shadow clone by using half of my chakra to help her out. And I even kind of warn her about if her family hates me. Just don't let it bother you. Just tell you this. You're the weakest link on the team, and anything your mom says about, just in case, I tell her just this. If your mom's saying anything about the Harunos or your family, the women in your family don't need to work, just don't believe that. That's just a why thing. Like, why does someone have to say that? And she kind of thinks about it. She goes, I don't know. It's like, there are some people in this world that believe that they don't work, nor will their children have to work for something. Anything can be earned by hard work. And when she goes, wait, really? He goes like, my dream is to become Hokage. So, and to go back to where I come, to go back to some place, but yeah, mostly Hokage. As I'm thinking, yeah, I have to keep that part, and I am going to be the worst Hokage ever. I'm not a leader. I'm just a doer, and I'm, going out. But I'll try it. So, after basically that discussion, and her understanding some, basically after I over-explain some stuff just to make sure I don't get her angry or, mad at me, we do have the, fights for basically the second part of the exam. You see, there are basically a few extra people in the exam than normal, which I'm like thinking, this is not normal. There's not supposed to be this many people. What the heck? As basically, what I see is we have some people from Mist. And I'm like, oh great. This is going to be fun. So, we will go through the normal things. While basically the fights are happening, I noticed there's even some people from Cloud, which is just random people, along with random people from Mist. I mean, basically, the fight with Sasuke goes as normal. I do see Orochimaru there being disguised. I'm thinking, how does no one notice that? The eyes say it all. What the heck? As then, he leaves with, basically, after Sasuke and Kakashi. He leaves, but he takes a quick glance at me and smiles. I'm like, and I shiver down my spine. I'm like, that smile. Oh, with those eyes. Creep. Very creepy. So, every fight would go the same. And when it gets to my fight, it's just Kiba. As I just sigh. And basically, oh yeah, by the way, with Sakura before my fight, she basically gave a really good fight with Ino with my fighting capability, of my taijutsu. She basically learned a few things, and with a little bit of muscle training, believe it or not, she actually got a low strong enough to basically near win, but still have a draw. And I'm like, okay, that is actually kind of shocking. Like, it wasn't an actual draw at first. She was about to win, but overexhausted herself. Her stamina sucks. I have to help her with that. Great. As I say out loud. When Sakura basically is, sit down, by the wall, I do see Orochimaru's back, which was new, and along with then Kakashi, who was back earlier than usual. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So, I'm kind of thinking, okay, since Kiba's gonna probably be my opponent, do I just play easy, or do I just go in quick and fast? I'm probably just gonna do a Zabuza. I don't have my sword on me, but I'm not gonna use it. I don't feel like killing somebody today. So, yeah, my fight basically is Kiba. And Kakashi says, well, Naruto, good luck. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be easy. So I kind of just jump on the rail, then just jump down. when I basically, land, have my knees bent, I basically look up, I see Kurenai glaring at me, I see, Hinata, still blushing, I'm like, thinking to myself, still a fangirl of me. Well, this is kind of show her I'm not like Kiba, not like Kiba, I'm not like Naruto. So, at least I just have my hands in my pockets, and I'm just walking forward. Kiba is already down, basically he's, being overly confident. He goes like, this is gonna be easy, Akamaru. I bet he was only gonna, fall down with one punch. As I'm just thinking to myself, cocky. Bad idea. Basically, Hiruzen and Kakashi heard that. They even think, bad idea. And basically, Kurenai's just hoping for, Kiba to beat me, and, for her Hinata's feelings, and all, so yeah. Anyways, basically, Kurenai just smirks, and Kakashi notices this, so he basically would, use Shunshin to go to where Kurenai is, and, well, he would ask, Kurenai, why are you smirking? She goes, oh, sorry, it's just, your Genin's gonna lose, easily. And then he has an eyebrow raise. He goes, huh? Why? He goes, well, he's gonna face Kiba, he's very good at taijutsu, but yours was the dead last. Your Genin. And he goes, well, don't believe everything they say on the paper. Trust me, this kid's full of surprises. In which he goes, huh? He goes, you'll see. She goes, wait, where's that? He goes, oh, the book? Yeah, I'm not missing this fight for a minute. Even Orochimaru, even thinking, what am I going to do? He's very interested in the whole time me doing no hand signs things and the massive amount of power I can use in a jutsu. Anyways, though. So, when, the proctors, come up, he basically would just say about the exact same thing. Knock out the opponent, or basically had them basically surrender, or even killing's allowed, I think it was, or not allowed. Anyways, though, when he says begin, I'm basically just have my hands in my pocket, and Kiba just grinning. He's like, what? Too afraid to fight? I'm like, Kiba, just use your clan technique already. This is gonna be boring. Seriously, I'm only gonna use one jutsu to end this fight, which Kiba is snarling at me and growling. Hinata's like, that's not Naruto. Asama's like, are you kidding me? Basically Kurenai is just wants to laugh. Kakashi and Hiruzen are just blinking, not even fazed by this. And Kiba just like, what do you mean? He's like, just give Akamaru the, I don't know, ninja pill, or basically whatever you use with your family techniques. By the way, before you even ask, I heard rumors about it. No offense. When your clan members get, kind of, loose lips, they talk a lot. Which Kiba just snarls even more, and so he does, and then he gets on fours and yells out, Beast Mimicry! As an Akamaru turns into, Kiba. I'm like, alright. I just take my hands out of my pockets, and I'm like, hey, Kiba. He's like, huh? Don't blink. And then all of a sudden I put my hand, basically, not even in the cross, I put it in front of me, which Kiba's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, water style. Mist Jutsu. Wait, hidden Mist Jutsu. As all of a sudden a mist rolls in. As everyone was shocked by this. And Kakashi eyes widen. There's a mist around me and Kiba. No one can really see it. In which, I'm basically just standing there smirking. As Kiba is saying, where are you? Basically, he came and find my scent because I think Zabuza did lace his chakra in the mist. Basically, I created the mist with my chakra, so technically, it's everywhere. He can't really sense where I am, as basically you can hear from the mist. I'm like, come on, Kiba, can't you find my scent? Oh wait, you can't. This mist is made by my chakra. So guess what that means? My chakra scent, probably my own scent, is probably doused by the mist itself. So, sorry, but this is where it's gonna end. As all of a sudden everyone just sees, electricity in the mist, as it's just simple. I just jump up in the air and I go, which Kiba doesn't even notice this. He goes like, "Wait, what are you like? Lightning style, lightning snake!" As I just shoot down an actual snake made out of lightning into the mist. Even though the mist is made out of water, so that means very tiny water molecules are in the mist. So yeah, it's basically an electric show. As well. As when that's happening, everyone shot it down. I, keep the, lightning basically moving, or basically kept on adding more lightning to it, or constantly to keep it going. No, it's only like a quick shot in, basically a quick shot down with the lightning snake into the mist, boom. As then Kiba basically, basically is on the ground, basically like twitching. As I just land, I'm like, well, the one jutsu, before you even say anything, Kiba, was to get my field advantage, and then it was actually the jutsu I used to actually finish this attack with the attack. So I still only use one jutsu, which basically everyone was shocked by this. Kakashi, because the mist was clearing, like I said, and everyone just sees it. Akamaru and Kiba are down, and I just saying that. Everyone shocked. Kakashi and, not Tazuna, Hiruzen are just like, Kakashi's not shocked. Hiruzen's just baffled. A combination technique like that, and then I'm like, anyways, do I win? As I look at the proctor, he's like, he goes over to Kiba, he basically asks, can you move? He was like, no, I can't. I'm trying. I'm like, yeah, electric shock. Basically, he's only going to be like that probably for at least 30 minutes or so. If you take healing jutsu, he may be that way less. Basically, I kind of paralyzed him on a low voltage. Which, Kiba just snarled at me, like, keep on snarling, Kiba. It's not like it's going to help. Jeez. Have some fun, man. I mean, losing is not fun, but have this as a learning experience. That's how I look at it. Learn from the mistakes. So, basically, the prompter announced my win. I'm like, well, this was fun. And I just do a backflip over to where I, basically was needed to be at. And then I hear Sakura like, what happened? Along with basically, even asking the same thing. Basically, I just turn around, basically have both my arms leaning, my back is on the bar, on the railing. I mean, he's like, oh, look who woke up. Pig and billboard brow. As they both look at me and glare, I'm like, first off, I mean, you guys both say it to each other. So, I just copy what you guys say. And, well, you guys are technically just woke up, so a good way to wake you up fully. Which Sakura's like, whatever, Naruto. By the way, how was your... It was like, I won easily. It was like, which asks us, who was your opponent? I'm like, Kiba. In which basically Sakura and, Ino's eyes widen. I'm like, it was easy. I used basically 2 jutsus, but I told him I was going to take him out in 1. Which Sakura's like, how did you, hit and miss technique? Which her eyes widen, and he goes like, then what else did you do? I'm like, oh, a lightning style I made. Well, lightning technique I made for myself. Which Ino was like, wait, what? You have lightning affinity? I'm like, yeah, sort of. It's kind of, I have more than one. But anyways, I made basically a thing called lightning snake. As in, all of a sudden I just put chakra on my hand, and all of a sudden a lightning snake, basically appears in it. I'm like, kind of took inspiration from, well, snakes. Didn't really do much. I had to learn basically the form of it, and then boom. Because I just crushed the snake in my hand, and the lightning just turned into basically static that goes in the air and then disappears. I'm like, so basically, if you take water and electricity, what do you get? Which then Sakura says, a conductor. I'm like, yeah, so basically I just, put lightning into the water molecules that basically covered where me and Kiba were, along with Akamaru, basically charging the water vapor with the water in the air. So, yeah, pretty much easy win. I mean, it also paralyzed him, so good effect for me, bad for him. Which, was just blinking like, when were you this smart? I'm like, when will you give him on the Uchiha? In which she goes, never. I'm like, well, then I'll never tell you. In which she just glares at me. I'm like, keep glaring. It's not gonna work. Besides, I mean, what's the point of glaring at me for? Just because I don't give you something you want? Jeez. That's what people always demand everything nowadays. At least I just, get off the rail and just turn around, and I'm watching the rest of the fights. Now, when it's Hinata and Neji, that would go the same. But in this case, when Neji is about to do like a killing blow on Hinata, Sakura is screaming out, all of a sudden, there's a flash. No one really saw what happened. The Jonins had a hard time seeing, but all they saw was something blue, and immediately something's like grabbing Neji's hand with something, he sees something at his throat. And when he looks down, he sees, claws. I'm like, you try to kill your own family member. How pathetic. Which, he's just shocked by this, and he sees the electricity going around me as I let go, and I keep my hand, basically, to his throat, but then after a few minutes let it go down, and the claws are still there. As I turn around, I see Hinata just looking at me. She goes, Naruto-kun? I'm like, I just bend down and like, don't worry, Hinata. You're gonna be perfectly fine. No one's gonna harm you. She goes, thank you, but how? And I just look, I just say, don't ask no questions. Just get some rest. You'll need it. And it's basically the meta's comment taker. Basically, all this, basically everyone just sees the fingernails look have veins, all of a sudden the claws are gone. And I'm like, that does do some strain. My fingers, but get used to it. As Neji goes, how did you do that? As I just look at him, like, huh? Basically, turn my head around, look at him. I was like, then I say, huh? He's like, how did you get here so quickly? I'm like, why should I tell you? He's like, does not matter. Fate will decide, if we fight and how, who will win. I'm like, fate is a stupid concept that you believe in. Nothing's decided by fate. Everything can be, decided by a chance, a choice. Yeah, but you make your own fate, Neji. And besides, as we say, basically just bend down, put my fingers in Hinata's blood, and then I do the vow like Naruto does. No offense. I feel bad for Hinata and that's, with Neji. So, yeah. And then he just scoffs at that, and I'm like, alright then, how about this? I'll break your, philosophy of fate. I'll shatter it even. And when I do, I'll even shatter something else. Don't worry about it. As I turn around and walking away from Neji, and he does not understand what I meant by it. In which Carl goes like, so what? What you would do? He goes, but the cage burr seal? I just need to ask Hasashi for a job. If he wants me to. If he wants to change the clan. Some members will have to disappear. In which Kurama is just kind of shocked by that. He goes, But wait, isn't that a last resort? Yeah, pretty much. But hey, we're ninjas. It's only fair. I mean, killed or be killed world. Which Kurama just stays silent, but then he goes, true. And he goes, by the way, nice strategy. It's like, just think on the fly. That's how I did it. It's like, wow, really? He was like, yeah, it had no plan. I just did it. So yeah, after I basically get back to the stands, they basically call down the victors. Some people from Wait, no. Oh yeah, I forgot about the people. Yeah, okay. So basically, two people from Mist, one, and one from Cloud one. Basically, people. So basically, just people that are going to replace some fights. So, I know we only need two. One will be just an extra, just in case. Really? So yeah. Anyways. So after it's announced who is the fight, so everything will be the same. Now, naturally, the only thing that's different is everything will be the same until it's Sasuke and Gaara. You see, Gaara was going to fight someone else. Sasuke will fight someone else. Always will be one the other two. And then the next match will be whoever wins their fight. So basically, it will be Sasuke versus another guy or Gaara versus another guy. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so after that was decided, I just think, okay, so I gotta train. What's the best way to train? If I go to Kakashi, he'll just teach Sasuke the Chidori. I should probably try to make that. It's a good thing I have a knowledge of basically of how the jutsu will work in my head. I could always watch it with Kurama. Which Kurama's like, you also have the books in your head. He's like, huh? He's what my father gave you the knowledge of. It turned into scrolls and books. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot. Wait, resistance seals. Why I never tried those before? I've been using gravity seals. Which Kurama's like, you just realized that? He was like, yes! He was like, this whole entire sealing thing is new to you, isn't it? I'm like, yes! It's like, fair enough, but also kind of hilarious. It's like, just quiet, Fox. He just snickering, I hear him, and then I shut off the connection, and I'm like, whatever. Okay, so I better go home back to, hold up. Alright, so basically I was saying to myself, I better go, talk to Yugao and Yamato. Tell them what's gonna happen. They'll probably be surprised on what I did. In which I would technically leave back to go home, and on the way there I found Zabuza. And I basically did tell him what I did, which surprised him and he was laughing. I asked him how he's liking the village. He says pretty good. Haku's actually liking it too. I basically say to him about, after the Chunin exam, do you think he can teach me some swordsman skills? Or, some way have to basically help me if I want to go to a bigger sword. Or bigger/heavier sword. Which he would not. So yeah, anyways. When I do basically get back to my home, which, tell Yugao and Yamato about it, and they were technically surprised, but also kind of surprised about the mark I have on my right shoulder. Tell them what that's about, which they're double surprised. And yeah. So basically, I do take a break for the next day, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I have to find Jiraiya. I have to get the toad summoning. Okay, now this is something I basically need to tell you guys. I did ask my friend this, what type of summon would I get? And Well, he said I wouldn't be good with toads because it was like the personality wise. So just know this. This is what my friend describing me and what will be the best summoning for me with Naruto. So yeah, it's I technically would need to do actually use the toad. So it would be kind of interesting if I get two summons. One's when I'm actually will be good with, and the other one will be the toad one. Before you guys even say anything, let's just say this. There'll be a weird thing that will happen. So, yeah. And it's also because of, well, if you realize, the Ninetales, he's a fox. So doesn't that mean there may be a fox summon? Yeah. I think there would be one, but you guys can let me know about that. Just know this. I'm not gonna, say what summon I will get. Okay, maybe I will, but it would probably be like... Never mind, I'll just go. Remember, it's 4 something in the morning. Well, it's 5 now. Oh, God, I really should be tired. I'm not. I'm just getting there. Ugh. Anyways, so, continuing on. So, basically, after I think that, I basically would just go to Hot Springs. I basically found out where it was, and I legit just looking, and I hear someone giggling. I just sigh. Basically, I follow the giggle, and I basically find who else but Jiraiya, the Toad Sage. As I legit just hearing him, just like, and like, you know what? Nope. I just basically just do one thing: put chakra into my foot and kick him into the wall, basically breaking through as I just disappear, into a tree and just watch him get beat up. As I'm just, basically laughing to myself. So after Jiraiya comes out of the wall, basically beaten, he's like, "Now, who did that? Come on out. Only a ninja could do that." As I just don't come out, and he goes, we have to do this the hard way. As basically, what happens is simple. He basically finds out where I am, and all I do right when he shunsins towards me, I shunsin away from him, and I basically land right where I was when I kicked him. As he goes, he was, and then he just sees me there. I'm like, "Yo, what's up, Jiraiya?" And so he shunsins over to where I am. He was like, "How did you?" He was like, I kind of shunsin when you shunsin, so you know." Anyways, the name's Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. It's a pleasure to meet you, Jiraiya the Toe Sage. He's like, you know me. He was like, read some books on you. Which is not a lie. He was like, well, you must have heard of how awesome I am. I go like, yeah. The books also state you're a pervert. So, pervy sage. He's like, no, don't call me that, Gaki. I'm like, or what? He's like, basically, he was like, huh? He's like, well, I'm not a fan, nor am I going to ask you to be my sensei. I mean, it's not like you could teach me anything that I can't learn on my own. Which Jiraiya just snorts at that. He goes, I can teach you a lot of things. It's like, really? He's like, yeah, but I'm not going to. He's like, why? Because what do I get out of it? I'm like, could train the next Hokage. He's like, huh? He's like, yeah. And besides, there's always one jutsu I have that can be good. He's like, what is it? I'm like, you really want to see? It'll knock your socks off because it can defeat the Hokage himself. Which Jiraiya just snorts at that. He was like, please, it can't beat the Hokage. He's too strong for you. You're only getting. I'm like, yeah. Watch this. And basically I just say sexy jutsu and then, transform into female Naruto. Which it does what I said, it did knock Jiraiya off his feet. And then he just does what Jiraiya would do as I G-transform. I'm like, So, Jiraiya, do you think I can be your student? He's like, yes. As long as you can just basically transform into that. I'm like, really? Why? I thought my godfather would want to help me out. In which Jiraiya just stops, looking at me, blinking. He's like, you. I'm like, Jiraiya, I think we need to have a little talk. Don't you? As I say with just an innocent smile on my face, which all of a sudden my eyes turn to, well, Kurama's eyes, which his basically he flinches. I'm like, and don't worry, the Nine Tails is fine. At least I just think to myself, wait, Kurama, does that mean you can leave me anytime you want? Which he just says, yes. You just noticed that now? I'm like, yeah, I just realized that, okay? He's like, I'm not leaving. He's like, huh? This is my home. Too much good stuff to watch. I'm like, is that the only reason why? He goes, yes. Then he cuts the connection off, and then he says out loud, I also got to like you, kid. You're a good person to talk to and hang out with. And so, after that little thing, I basically looking at him like, we have to go to the Hokage. I'm like, you're really going to check to see if the seal's broken? Wow. Don't believe in your own student, eh? But she's like, you don't know like who my parents are? I know. But that's the thing. As all of a sudden, wind just starts basically going around us. Like, I ain't. How should I say this? I ain't the Naruto you know. Anyways, as also the wind started condensing down onto us, as Jiraiya just like kind of like looking around, trying to wonder who's doing this. Like, let's go visit the Hokage. As in, basically, it was slowly, basically compressing itself on us. As in, also, it just basically does that immediately as we're just gone. Like, there was nothing there. A few minutes passed in the Hokage's office. I just saw I was doing paperwork. As all of a sudden, before he even say anything about he hates the paperwork, a strong gust of wind is just appearing out of nowhere in the middle of the room. Basically, the Anbu on guard, as in all of a sudden there's two forms being shown in the wind. As in when it disappears, just like it came out of nowhere. It basically, just shows both of us. I'm like, yo, Gigi, what's up? Which he goes, Naruto, how did you, like the elemental Chunin I made? I kind of thought of it about last night. Didn't really have to work on it since, which basically Hiruzen does not, and then he looks at Jiraiya. I'm like, we're gonna have to explain some things, so get your Anbu out of here. He's like, right, Anbu. As basically they leave, and then he basically puts on the privacy seal, which he goes like, this is that serious? Do you know how to... And he goes, Jiraiya, please, sit down. You're going to need to hear about this. Which he was like, no, as I just tell him, you're going to need to sit down. Trust me. And also, Gigi, got any sake? He's gonna need it. This is gonna give him a headache, and I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it. And which Hiruzen does not. And so, after he gets the sake out, we basically tell him what happened and who I am, and he just believe in it. As then, well, I'm like, it's your choice. I mean, to be honest, I don't really need to care. I mean, I technically just do the Rasengan on my own. He's just like, ha, proof! As I literally just hold up my hand, and all of a sudden a ball of wind chakra is being formed. Well, technically, a ball of chakra is being formed, and I also have elemental jutsus to it. So, wind, that's basically just like, there's like a little hum to it. Which Jiraiya is just like, you perfected Rasengan on the first try. Also, the water ball, basically I had to spin the ball really fast, basically with my chakra, with the water to make it pop. And then with the actual rubber ball, I will have to basically make my chakra spin all around to pop it. Basically combine the two together to form the actual spear of chakra. which is called a Rasengan. How's that for explanation for you to prove I know it? A. Which Jiraiya is just shocked. Very shocked. And then basically like, oh, Gigi, forgot to tell you something. He's like, huh? The snake gave me a present. He was like, what? Wait, what? Orochimaru gave you something? I was like, yeah, don't worry. He gave me a curse. But it was one with the Shinigami seal on, I just point to my stomach as he nods. He goes like, what happened to it? He goes like, well, the Nine Tails told me it was about, drain my life force, basically off and on, basically keep me in the constant state of death and rebirth. Life, basically revival, healing, you can say, and then come dying again constantly. It's like every minute I would be walking, my heart, I would be dead and then come back to life. Basically, that would be my curse. But since it was like the Shinigami seal, Kurama was able to, since that broke, it kind of was not reinforced, so the seal, he was able to put chakra into that seal and change it completely to the point where, as basically I was not wearing no, jacket, I was just wearing, a shirt, and no, chainmail, just basically lift up my shirt and show him the fairy tale symbol. He's like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, this is from basically I would just tell him the anime, the name, what it's about, and what does it mean. And just show him what it does. Basically, the actual, marks appear on me, which he's kind of shocked, and Jiraiya can sense nature energy. Which he's like, how? How you not turn to? It was like, oh, the seal absorbs it constantly. So, I have basically a lot of chakra reserve. Most of my jutsus, I can just use this and keep my own chakra and the Nine Tails chakra used to a minimum. Which Hiruzen just legit just sighs me like, why does all this happen to you? I'm like, well, this is the first. You never made that face of pure shock and disbelief and annoying. Easy. 1, I'm like Naruto. BS happens to me. 2, I am the ultimate BSer. And 3, this is just my life and I deal with it every single day. In which Hiruzen pours himself some sake and he just drinks it. He's like, you're worse than Naruto and giving me problems and headaches. I'm like, yeah, but you love me. And he just sighed like, since I've known you and got to know you, I treat you like my own grandson still. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's actually kind of fun. Both my grandparents are gone. Well, my mom and dad's side, so yeah, it makes sense. I'm kind of glad I have a grandfather figure. In which Jiraiya is just like, just staring disbelief about this. He can't process it. And then I'm like, I wonder. Hold up. Alright, I'm back. But anyways, as I basically said I was going to try something, I was like, legit. I just tell him, Jiraiya, you need to snap out of it. Someone's going to burn your life's work. And she goes, no, I shall not let them burn it. As I'm like, okay, great, because no one's going to try to burn it. But she's like, huh? Wait, what? And I'm like, okay, so, can you train me, Jiraiya? Or just, I'm like, nah, I'm just going to call you Privy Sage from now on. He's like, yeah, fine, I'll train you. He's like, great. Give me a minute, though. As I just make a Shadow Clone, as I just tell the Shadow Clone to go over to where Sakura is. So yeah. Anyways, so the training with Jiraiya is not the same as it was in canon. He's trying to see what I can do, and he's very surprised at what I can do. A lot of things, actually. Even some swordsmanship techniques, which, surprisingly, since I just started not that long ago, he gets it. But my taijutsu is different, he says. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. It's anything I played that was a fighting game, and then I, you know, had it basically convert into a taijutsu style, which I have a wide variety. So yeah, I mean, I probably need to make some moves, on that style of fighting, but I'm not going to. In which Jiraiya just nods, and so the summoning we get to. The thing is, I do worry about because I do tell him I'm not like Naruto, so I don't know if the summoning contract will work properly with me. Which he goes, oh, he's like, unfortunately, my personality, someone like, something like, how should I say this, Orochimaru's, but not 100% like Orochimaru's. He goes, okay, explain. So I kind of just do explain it truly, and he kind of can see the reasoning. I would think that, but he just shrugs me like, well, we'll see what happens. So you guys can leave in the comments saying just get just say Toad summoning, or basically my friend did say, I'm just gonna tell you guys because I really don't care right now actually what I planned. I just tell you, my friend basically said with my personality, it seemed like the snake summoning would be good. I mean, snake summoning, I would be, like a snake summoner. So, in a sense, yeah, you guys can leave in the comments if I should be, Toad or Snake. I'm okay with basically being Toad or Snake. It really doesn't matter. But anyways, so, yeah, I basically signed the contract. Something will happen, and it'll basically, I'm in a field with two different places. One place with another place with another one, and yeah. There's, Kurama just says this is a place where if someone's personality is good with two summons, it's rare to basically have two summons, that are basically big. Small summons you can basically have like multiple, but like two multiples or three, and that's it, tops. Which I'm like, okay. So, yeah. Next, after I get my summons, I basically then train with Jiraiya with the next thing. Sakura gets a little bit of, power boost, and training helps. Even start her on some medical techniques, and even had Kurenai help Sakura with some genjutsus. Even detected them and dispelled them. Along with having a talk with Kurenai, I was just basically just telling the reason why I basically said those things to Hinata. So also tell her I'm not, how should I say, the Naruto that she believes in. I'm different. So yeah. I vaguely told her. And since it is 5:21, I'm gonna try to go to bed, but let's just finish it off where it's the day of the Chunin exam, as I just wake up. Alright, bye everyone, have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.